Hello, this is Defacto Review with me, Gerald Sachen, and also with Zag Zusem.
Hi.
Hi. We would like to bring to your attention this week Defacto Review, which is covering three important events happened last year in the political, economic, social life of Mongolians.
Okay, now the three topics are on food security in relation to meat. The second topic is on ICT Week, also known as Information and Communication Technology, and it's specifically focused on Web 3.0. And the third topic is on another amendment into the Constitution of Mongolia. Going on to our first topic on food security. About a month ago, a serious case of food safety was reported to the UB Specialized Inspection Agency that raised a potential threat to Mongolia's food security. On May 10th, a citizen reported to the agency that a meat processing plant called MDCP LLC in Imelt area, which is an hour drive away to the west of Ulaanbaatar city, was processing meat with chemical powder. The inspection agency then investigated the case and found out that the chemical powder was a compound with a high content of expired food starch. This led to further investigation, and the government made some key decisions during its cabinet meeting on May 8th. These include revoking the licenses of 16 out of 31 enterprises engaged in the processing, production, and export of meat by thermal methods, suspending the production, processing, and export of thermal meat until January 1st, 2023, approving new standards for all processes from slaughter to delivery of meat and meat products to consumers, relocating thermal meat processing plants operating in the capital city of Ulaanbaatar, and organize an integrated industrial park, replacing the management of the Specialized Inspection Agency of Sangin District, which did not carry out sufficient inspections, relieving the duties of some officials of the State Inspection Agency and the Capital City Specialized Inspection Agency, hold accountable some officials of the Ministry of Food, Agriculture, and Light Industry and the Standardization of Metrology Agency, and finally, establish a national independent laboratory system. Mr. Jarasakhan, do you think these government responses are reasonable? Do you have any other suggestions?
Yes. First of all, this was a revealing of the truth, finally, of the true situation, true picture of food chain issue, in this case, in case of meat in Mongolia. Meat value chain has a problem in spite of a big supply of meat. Herds in Mongolia, we have about 70 million herds, and per capita herds amount, we are taking one of the first place in the world. However, that food security, in particular meat security, has so many concerns, which was revealed in this situation. And I think the government decision was very important, though it is a bit late. However, we have to deal with that. This value chain of meat, from the meat, Mongolians eat mostly lamb and beef, slaughtering, then transport, whole and retail sale, then packaging, etc. And Mongolians also, unfortunately, import many foods with just in their suitcases. That somehow it shows how lousy is the system of food security and its quality control. What triggered that situation in Imelt, as you said, is the August 29th, 2016, two agencies for Mongolian, it's called Mongolian General Agency of Specialized Inspection, and Chinese Quality Control Agency. They have signed an agreement that Mongolia will export meat, mostly beef, to China, but with the after thermal processing. It's a particular technology. And Mongolians obliged to have quality control, meat origin certificate, processing certificate, packaging and transporting, and all these things to be responsible. And each step required particular license, which was given, and in many cases looks like in very much a corrupt way. So that's this is the revealing of the corruption system. Kind of, some call it even meat mafia. So it shows how vulnerable and bad system of quality and safety control in Mongolia, and our specialized inspection agency, only state agency that is covering all sectors, including building materials, quality, etc. Only after they receive permission, the building, for example, is open for exploitation. And it turned out that this agency is understaffed, cannot cover all sectors, and that's in many ways some part of it corrupt, and not sufficient public control over that agency, and that's why that's why the system doesn't work. And instead, for example, in particular, an issue of food safety, which is the key issue for the public health. For example, some countries have a specialized agency only for example, food. India has a food security authority, for example. And Mongolia could probably, in a food case, I would do that. This measures the government taking necessary, but instead we should have a special food security agency authority with very clear mandates and with accountability, good accountability, and independent, most importantly. In some countries, for example, China has state certificate agency certifying private companies to make quality control of food, for example, because it's a vast country and cannot one agency organize that state organ just certifying the agency, public companies, third parties to do the food security. So that's why we need to just not only the 6 measures you have mentioned, but we need to reconsider our the checking food, particular security, safety issues. That's, I think, the signal of the importance of that, everything what happened last week.
There's a statistics that says 90% of our livestock were slaughtered and supplied to citizens in traditional ways without the pre-slaughter and post-slaughter inspection. Why was this the case? Why didn't the government take measures before?
Well, this is quite Mongolian phenomenon. Why? Because during a particular socialist time, it's a huge country with huge country, half of population is now in Ulaanbaatar city, just in one city. But before it was not the case. It was 70% outside of Ulaanbaatar and in remote areas. A lot of herds and herdsmen. The herdsman business was not relatively as it is now. This different change. And people used to have, we call it winter food, which meaning that in fall they prepare beef, meat, and then make into pieces, and then bring to your balcony, wherever you have, and then piece by piece consume daily. That was very traditional way of Mongolians preparing food. And with the more urbanization, the situation is changed, but still that method is people find more reliable instead. Plus, price changes all the time. So many Mongolians up to now even preparing that winter food. But now with open market, food market, shops nearby, convenience store, people start to buy, but never pay attention. How was this logistics? How this meat came to your table? That system was not working, which is a clear case of what we talk about, the case. So it is to be changed. There is no sufficient information about any businesses in the country. One, all licenses are given to the people who are close to the authorities. That's one of the reasons many people like to be politicians, to have high-ranking positions to help or to sometimes they have been selling the license, right? All this. So the same happened, for example, with Kashmir business. Everybody got on a Kashmir business. Then at the end, the same also with cement. We had not cement a few years ago, no plant at all. Then suddenly we got three to four suddenly at the same time. And they start to produce at the same time. The market is full. Then they're competing with the prices down. At the end, they are not able to pay their loan and almost bankrupt. Well, cement is okay, keep working, but many other businesses like this. Meat is the same. After there was a permission first time to export Mongolian meat to China, everybody jumped into the business, in particular our politicians. And nowadays, for example, the company in the question, under the question investigation is a company that is bought by former state-owned company that bought by former President Batulga.
Okay.
And his sister owns that company, who is now under investigation in connection with this, the white substance that is not supposed to be in the food, for example. So all this together makes this kind of chaos, which is not open for the public. The public knows only when this kind of problems come.
So you're saying we need open and transparent
That's a governance issue. Governance issue. That includes proper planning, proper execution, the most importantly checking, and the acting upon what you have checked. So this Drucker business cycle is to be really fully implemented by Mongolian government.
Let's move on to our next topic on ICT Week.
Okay.
The American Chamber of Commerce organized the event last week in the beginning of June, and a new movement called Web 3.0 entered our world with or without our knowing, and it's a decentralized but secure internet where people can exchange money and information without the unnecessary middlemen like bank or tech companies. And to further understand what this Web 3.0 is and its implementation in Mongolia, the American National Chamber of Commerce organized the event and invited some international experts. These experts were from leading tech companies in the field of fintech, IoT, cybersecurity, and mining, such as Polygon, Chain Analysis, DLA Piper, BCW Toko, as well as Block Owl and Ihu Law Group Korea. And the domestic experts from Mongolia were from educational sectors, financial sectors, tech companies, and they included companies such as Art Financial Group, NFT, Obertech, Step Group, Elf Education, Tamya, and Mott. And they organized the event in 4 parts, in 4 topics. And these were creating ecosystem for tech startups, building the Web 3.0, new era for finance, and finally, managing risk and compliances in Web 3.0 economy. So, there were many new terms introduced to us within the last year, such as NFTs, cryptocurrency, and metaverse, and Web 3.0. Can you tell us exactly what this is in one sentence?
Well, it's good that AmCham, which is working in Mongolia, AmCham Mongolia, which is a part of this AmCham in the U.S., in every country where American investments are there, the American companies, they create this AmCham. And that AmCham has really sometimes touching the issues of great importance to businesses, to economy, to the country as a whole. And one of them is this. And it's very timely organized event because we are coming, not knowingly, entering into Web 3.0. Third generation. If the first generation was about just internet, since 1991 to 2004, it was just static information. You get the information wherever when you need. It was quite good achievement. Then Web 2 come with social media. Now it's interactive. Now the third is coming when the whole, as you said, mostly based on blockchain. Blockchain is unlike just the bit system in the computer. Blockchain is 243 or so symbols making just one. One used to be yes or no before. Now it makes big block by many computers. Then after a certain period, this is finished, then the remaining part is connected with the next blockchain. That's why it uses so many energy. And with just you said, it is decentralized, not necessary to be approved by somebody. It's verifiable, and it's self-governing, and it creates completely new environment for businesses, which is more trustworthy, not requiring the third party, etc. And so we are coming to this world like many other countries, but Mongolia also, just because it's a smaller country, because it's a young country, because we have many talented people, we would like to be not behind this time of everything. So that's why for Mongolians it's so important to be on the horizon of this whole things, and I think this event organized by AmCham was a great contribution to this regard.
As an economist, what do you think? What is its benefits to the economy?
You see, now we have a lot of coins. Values came down, and people. That shows how much people are aware of that coin, token, etc. Without proper knowledge, if we come deep into this ocean, we will have a big problem, which already many people have with the value of all coins went down substantially. This event helped us to understand more what are the opportunities in front of us and what we need to know. And for example, Ethereum. This Ethereum Polygon that the company you have mentioned believes that this Web3 is for everybody. And next website, www, will be based on blockchain. And for example, this Polygon has already a lot very high market value, 10 billion plus, and Ethereum is the second after the Bitcoin coin, and plus it has own platform where other people can come and use that platform for their own application or transactions. So, and it's like early 2000, we didn't understand about the social media. We did not expect that Facebook will be like a part of your life like this. And so it also creates, in particular, this NFT, these coins have taken such a big part of chunk of economy that we have to regulate, so making sure that there is not fraud. In terms of that regulation, it was also helpful because that computer, the Singapore company, Chain Analysis, are helping the states to regulate in such a way this fintech industry, such a way that it doesn't bring harm to or fraud to the public, and yet public understands how they can use. So that's why these three companies you have mentioned was a good contribution to our understanding.
Great. Okay, now let's move on to our last topic on the amendment into the Constitution. The Mongolian People's Party discussed the issue of amending the Constitution during its weekly meeting on June 6th. And the working group held 3 discussions, one with constitutional scholars, the other with representatives of those who adopted the 1992 constitutions, and another discussion with the 26 leaders of the parties operating in Mongolia. And based on the outcome of these discussions, the Standing Committee on State Structure met last week and decided to listen to public opinion on amendments to the Constitution and improvements to the electoral system, according to the chairman of the caucus, Toktok-surung. The caucus believes that if the public supports it, lawmakers will be able to initiate amendments to the Constitution. Has this happened before, listening to the public opinion on amendments to the Constitution? What are your thoughts on this?
We have been amending this Constitution, which is first made in 1992 after just democratic revolution, and it has been changed 2 times at least. It was changed in the year 2000, second time, after 8 years. Then it changed after 19 years, 2019, 3 years ago. And now if these amendments will happen, it will be, we are changing the Constitution in 3 years since the last change. So some regards it, is it the right thing or not? Why the constitutions are to be changed so frequently, etc. Some critic even raised the issue that our constitution is in general terms, so that you can, instead of changing or amending the constitutions, you can change the related laws. In that way, you solve the problem. So there are critics, pro and cons. People are there. Yes, the People's Party having 62 seats out of 76 seats in the Mongolian parliament, which very much criticized by other political parties, because People's Party got only 40% of the voting votes, okay? Those who voted. But however, they have a seat 80% in the parliament seats. So this is a not very healthy representation, because we have a representative parliamentarian system. So they have agreed. They have been talking whole year since, all the time since 2019. As a result, we changed the president term. Instead of 4, 2 times. Now it's 6 years. But now the PP considers this as not amendments, new amendments, but it is continuation of 2019 Constitution amendments, continuation. However, now Mongolia has 38 political parties. For 3.3 million people, we find a little bit too much. But however, 24 of them signed memorandum on June 9th, memorandum on the constitutional amendments, and they agreed to make 10 different directions change. Those includes, for example, they will change state symbol, then also improve the election system, today being a majoritarian, not to be proportional, meaning that the political parties will have been certain seats elected, and then who will take the seats, the political parties decides afterwards, which a little bit caused some problems in several times. But however, we find this system, current one, is not also a very right one. They will change also the parliament structure. Instead of one chamber with 76 seats today, they will want to make also upper chamber, 2-chamber parliament. The next change is the president will be elected from the parliamentarians by parliament. By parliament, it will be elected. So whether it is parliament member or not parliament member, but anyway, parliament will vote or elect that president. This part is not very clear. And also, the very substantial change will be the amount of seats in the parliament. Today is 76, as I said, but it's going to be one suggestion to be 108. The other is even 150. So I don't know, but in any case, it's also a cost issue. But however, it is a full we need to have really having full proportional, optimal presentation of votes and people. They say that they will make a referendum for this summer, meaning that asking people's opinion on these issues. They will have a list, and then they will ask people, and they will have a vote or poll on that. Then, if the people support, they will discuss the issue, the draft law, or draft constitution's amendments, and they will approve it next fall. Because if they don't approve now, there is no guarantee that some one political party have majority of seats. Today, to change the constitution, they need only 54 votes, which they have already 62 seats, so they can easily approve that. Whether it's good for the country or not, that's the issue that people will discuss it during whole summer. And so hopefully this time the amendments will bring more value to the democracy, parliamentarian democracy of Mongolia in particular. This is very important at this time in particular when the world is in the chaos, in the war. And in some countries, in particular our neighbor countries, are mostly managed by one person. So we have already parliamentarian system, and we try to improve it, and how it will be improved, that's what we will see this summer.
Looking forward to that. Okay, now that concludes our weekly review. Do you have anything else to say?
Well, this includes our Defacto review this time. Thank you very much for watching us. See you next week at this time. Thank you.